Hello everyone, welcome back. And the things I've been up to this week are I've given my lawn another cut. It's had its second cut now, and I've cut it widthways rather than lengthways. And they suggest you cut it in different directions. It's better for the grass itself because it doesn't grow in one direction all the time. And I think prolonged cutting in the same direction makes it grow a certain way. And also it helps with the soil underneath. It doesn't compact. Cutting it the same way might compact it and helps with airflow and water if you change the way you cut it each time you do it. Also, I wasn't going to cut the bearded iris, but I've had so much out the front growing that I didn't want to grow. I was getting it caught in the front door every time I shut the front door, so I've had to thin it out a bit, and I've got two different varieties of bearded iris out the front. One is Indian Chief and the other one is a purple one, and because they've grown amongst one another, it's hard to tell which is which until it flowers. But I've put two of, I think, the Indian Chief in the border here. I've also put another Indian Chief here, and that's going to grow lovely, and it's not going to compete with the roses because the roses will flower way after the iris flowers. And I've also got it around the border over here. I love the texture of it in the borders, a lovely grey green texture, and I think it just looks lovely. I'm not going to plant any where the bird bath is. I'm just going to leave it in the straight borders. And the other I've put in the raised bed, and once I find out what variety they are, I've got quite a bit of the purple one, but if it's the Indian Chief, I really want to keep it. Such a nice bearded iris. And also I've had a problem with one of the heucheras, and I'll take you over to it and I'll show you. And this was the pot that I had the heuchera purple palace in, and I was just doing a clean up on the foliage as you would with any dry foliage. I was just trimming it off, just doing a general trim on the borders after I'd cut the lawn, and the top part of the heuchera just lifted off. And as I looked into the soil, I saw that there was the vine weevil larvae, and I was watering it thinking that I wasn't giving it enough water, and in fact that wasn't the issue. I do know now that you can buy things from the garden centre that you can put onto the top part of the soil here that the vine weevil will go into, but now I know the root of the problem, so to speak. I shall keep a lookout. I've checked this one over. This one is called silverberry. This seems to be okay. I've had a little dig round the bottom and everything seems to be intact. And also I've got heuchera marmalade, and that looks okay. The saving grace for me is I've still got two purple palace heucheras in my pots out the front, so I can easily divide it again and put another one in. I'm not going to use this soil again because I don't trust it. There might be larvae still in there or eggs. I don't really want to use it again, so I'm going to get rid of this soil and use new for when I repot the purple palace. But what I'm really up to today is this looks a little bit like a tanning booth, but I've put the tarpaulin over the fence, and I'm going to attempt to stain some of the fence panels. I'm off for 2 weeks off work, and the weather's going to be good this week, around 20 degrees. The sky is really blue, there's not a cloud in sight, and I was going to start it yesterday, but it rained. But this week we're going to have full sunshine, so I'm going to lift the panels out, and we're going to prop them in this corner, and I'm going to stain them. I don't really want to stain them on the fence as they are because of the concrete posts. I don't want to get stain on it, and also I don't want to lie it on the lawn. I don't want any of the stain going underneath because the other side of the fence panel is on my next door neighbour's side, and they usually stain their side grey. So I don't want to make it look ugly because they may not want to stain it this year. They may well want to do it next year. So I want to prop them up here and do each panel individually. It's only really down one side of the garden. I may do this side as well, but I've got plenty of time to do it, and the weather's looking good as well. And the wood stain that I'm using is the Ronseal, and this one is called Dark Oak, and it's a one coat and it's a quick drying one. I also keep an empty bucket that when I've finished using the brush, I never trust myself leaning it on the bucket. I also keep an empty bucket to put my brushes in afterwards. I'm not using a spray because I don't want the spray going everywhere. We've got the new slabs down and the new shed. I'm not staying in the shed this year, and I don't want to get the spray on my next door neighbour's garage or anywhere else, so I'm doing it the old-fashioned way and using the brush. So this is day 2 of staining all the fences. All this is complete now. We got all this done yesterday, and I've just been over it this morning just to see if there's any bits that needed touching up. And what we have decided overnight is that we will stain the shed now. So I've got everything down here now. We've got all the blue tarpaulin down. I'm going to start with the front. So that's it, I've just finished now and we've just tidied up. As you can see, all the fence is all done now, and obviously the shed. We took 2 panels out down the bottom and I stained them in the entry because I could just flip the panel over to do each side. And I've done the raised bed. I've even managed to do the back of the raised bed with a decorating roller. So it's all done now. I've just got the windows of the shed to clean up, but thank God it's all finished. That's it. That was 2 days of intense wood staining, and this top is definitely going to go in the bin after today, and I'll be jumping in the shower. But I hope you've enjoyed the video. Have a lovely week, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye bye.